So we're on Twitch right now where we've been playing some colonial campaigns in EU4 Patch 1.27, and we are going to collect some data to show just how much the colony income that we're getting in Patch 1.27 has been nerfed from Patch 1.26, and why it's not really clear that it should be this big of a penalty. So we have a save that was submitted by a gentleman named Jorlum, and we're in the year 1574. It is Patch 1.26 right now, the Dharma patch. And what we're going to look at is Newfoundland's income. Newfoundland is our only colonial nation. He has an income of 8.64 ducats. And the way that math worked in patch 1.26 was very straightforward. You take taxation plus production plus trade plus gold, add it all together, multiply it by the tariff rate of 20%, plus whatever bonuses you have to colony income, and then that's the amount of money that you make. So you can follow me on this math pretty easily. If we take 8.64 times 0.2 times 1.35, you end up with 2.3328. That's where the 2.33 ducats come from, right? Pretty simple. So we are live on Twitch right now, so I will be looking at another screen and also possibly getting distracted. Just be aware of that. So what we've done is we've taken that and we've created a spreadsheet that we can use to just do comparisons a little bit easier. So we're on patch 1.26. I've entered in the information. Again, this guy's got income of 2.01, 4.54, and 2.08. Now, there is a post that I made, a bug report, talking about how the nerf to colony income from 1.26 to 1.27 is much stronger than it's supposed to be. And it's not reflected properly in the patch notes. And if it is the intended level of nerf to colony income, that's fine, I think. But it needs to be made clear in patch 1.27 exactly what's going on with colony income so that we are not misleading players. So this spreadsheet's very simple. All we do is we just enter in the taxes, production, subject, trade. There should really be a column here for gold, but none of our subjects have ever had gold, so it doesn't actually matter. We enter in the tariff percent, we enter in the tariff bonus, and then that calculates out the net tariff, same as what's happening in game, 27%. And then the expected income, what we actually get is subject taxes plus production plus trade times net tariff equals the expected income. What the colonial nation is supposed to pay is going to be equal to, when you look here at their expenses, their outgoing tariffs penalty is 0.86, even though they're paying us 2.3. That's kind of suspect, kind of weird. So the expenses are 0.86. Why is that? Well, it's because a while back, apparently, there was an exploit where people would intentionally bankrupt their colonial nations so that they could force their liberty desire down. So Paradox patched it so that the colonial nations wouldn't go bankrupt as much. And the way they did that was to just make the colonial nations pay less. They just added divide by 2, basically. So even though their expenses should be, it should be the same, basically, as what they're paying, right? Like vassal income works. If a vassal pays you a ducat, they lose a ducat. It's simple. It's how it works. Over here, though, the expenses of the colonial nation is subject taxes plus subject production plus their trade, all that times the tariff percent, the base tariff percent, then divided by 2. Notice how we're not factoring in tariff bonus. That's another way that they just somehow don't get penalized. So what's important to understand about this sheet so far is that my sheet is calculating that the expenses of the colonial nation based on this income is 0.86, and that is what we see in the game, 0.86. What we expect to make is the 2.33, which is what we're getting, 2.33, but what we actually make, the actual income, this is what we're going to enter in, like what we actually earn ourselves. 2.33 is what we actually got paid. There's this thing called magic money, which according to the developers, they don't want magic money. In theory, they're supposed to be working away from magic money. But there is magic money because of this disparity where the income is divided by 2 and then they only pay it on the base tariff, not the number including the tariff bonus. And so if you take what we get paid minus what they're actually spending, there's 1.47 ducats in magic money. Now, I'm going to take a moment to load up 1.27 with the same save, and we're going to see what happens when we are in 1.27. The 2 notes in 1.27, and this is my bug report on the bug report forum. Tariffs are now only counted on income from production, gold, and trade, and Tariffs Overlord operate on now match how much the CN actually pays. Okay, So we go and we look at the actual numbers in the game in 1.27. Same exact country, same exact everything. We have 2.01 taxation, 4.54 production, 2.08 trade. If we go to our tariffs thing, we enter this into now the 1.27 version of my spreadsheet to calculate it for us. We enter in the tariff percent, the tariff bonus. Expected income based on the current patch then is going to be just subject income plus trade income plus, again, gold income if it existed, but we don't have any for the subject, so it's fine. Times the net tariff percent equals whatever. We get paid, we would expect to make 1.72. What we actually are going to get paid is 0.89 ducats. All right, so let's update our portion here. We got 2.01 for taxes. We've got 4.54 for production, and their trade is still at 2.17. Tariff percent stayed the same. Tariff bonuses stayed the same. The actual income that we're making is 0.9. And the expenses of the colonial nation should be registering at the correct number now. Outgoing tariffs, 0.66. So they're paying within 0.01 ducats. Magic money got reduced significantly going from patch 1.26 to patch 1.27. But this nerf percent is an automatic calculation where we're taking the income from the previous patch, taking the actual income divided by the patch income we had just a moment ago in patch 1.27 to determine how much money we lost, right? I'll do it by calculator here just to show what's happening. If we took what we were making, 2.33 ducats, actual income 2.33, and we compare that to what we're making right now, the actual income is 0.89. 0.89 divided by 2.33, we're making 38% as much money as we used to, which is an effective nerf of colony income of 61.8%. Right, we're losing 61.8% of what we used to make. Now, the logic that Grugi or Paradox is trying to make is that if you take those two changes, it makes sense. Tariffs Overlord operate on now match how much the CN actually pays. But again, the CN, wrong screen. The CN is paying half for some reason. So my complaint and like why I feel like it needs to be corrected is that if you have a tariff efficiency, you have tariffs at 20%, and they're only paying half of that, and then we're only getting money based on that half, then we don't actually get tariffs of 20%. We get half of that. We get tariffs of 10%, right? The math is actually quite straightforward if you do it that way. If we just assume that we're only getting half of what's actually listed, the math works out fine. If we take only production and trade, 4.54 plus 2.17, and instead of getting 20%, we just say, well, I actually only get 10%. I get half of what I'm supposed to. And then I have tariff colony income bonus of 35%. Weird. I'm making 0.90. So when it says 20% tariff efficiency, it's not 20% tariff efficiency, it's 10%. So this is the problem with this patch, is that we have seen colony income get nerfed by anywhere from 60 to 80% of what it used to be. And apparently Paradox doesn't even think it's a bug. It's just working as intended. Now, again, I am fine with that. If that is the level that colony income needed to be nerfed by, okay, that's fine. But it needs to be reflected in the tooltips, and the math needs to make sense. Like, there's just nothing in here that's like, how are we supposed to know that colonies only pay half as much? There's nothing in this tooltip that says that they just pay half as much because one guy, one time exploited the game and bankrupted his colonial nations. It needs to be updated. And also, again, there's that disparity where for some reason, the colonial nation is only paying their expenses off of the base tariffs. They don't pay the expenses off the included tariff bonus. One of the EU4 game designers says that instead of conjuring up magic money from the ether, they are doing other things. We're not supposed to have magic money, so get rid of the magic money. There is magic money in both versions of the game. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not transparent, and that's the problem with the current patch. So if you were unaware that colonies had their income nerfed, then just be aware that if you start playing a colonizing nation, don't expect to make very much money. They nerfed income by 60 to 80%. So, all right, well, let me know what your thoughts are down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you soon.